Hey, so good morning, guys. This is easily the hardest kind of lesson for me, and teaching about the Holocaust online is something I've never done before. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you some facts and some outlines of exactly what happened at these death camps, the ones that were designed to kill hundreds of thousands of people. And instead of putting videos in, I think what I'll do is I'll attach some videos from some movies and from some documentaries that might outline this more. Usually if we were doing this in class, I'd be able to stop and answer questions and see how people are doing with this, because it's such heavy stuff. You know, there were almost 7 million people killed in these Nazi concentration camps, and although, you know, 6 of the 7 million were Jewish, the Jewish Holocaust is certainly, you know, an amazing display of just how bad people can get. Let me start with this chart, and I want you to look at this chart while I'm talking. And what it says is the places and these are countries where Jewish people were killed. And if you look at some of the countries, you'll recognize them. Some are smaller than others, but when you go down there and you see, you know, the victims, these are people who were killed. And then the other chart, and this just shows how big the Holocaust was, what percentage of the Jewish population in each country was killed. And you're looking at numbers like 96% at the top of all Lithuanians that were Jewish are gone. And, you know, these numbers are huge. So what Hitler and the Nazis did to the Jewish people was devastating. I mean, we're talking about people whose entire families were wiped out in history. Even when you go to smaller countries that have smaller percentages, those numbers are in the thousands and hundreds of thousands. Look at Poland. You know, 3 million Polish Jewish people were killed. I see Russia stands out. USSR is Russia, 1,100,000. So I just wanted to start with that. Going to the next slide, it's written in Polish, but what you can see are a red area, and these are where the death camps were. Most of them are in Poland, and in fact, you can see the names of the camps at the top. It says Auschwitz-Birkenau. How many were killed at this one death camp? 1,100,000. Treblinka, Belzec, Sobibor, and these are just a huge number of people that were killed. And I'll go through what happened when you got to a camp that was a death camp. All right, we already talked about concentration camps where you were working to death. The death camps did have workers, but their goal, and this happened during the war, you know, and as the war started to get worse and worse for Germany, they started to speed up this process, because Hitler knew that, you know, they were going to lose the war, but to still try to get his goal of killing as many as he could. So this was a picture that was taken of what's called the selection. And you can see there's people wearing stripes. Those were prisoners that were allowed to leave, but they helped in the killing of people. You can see people with hats, which are the officers in Germany. The gateway to Auschwitz you can see in the back left there. And in front there is a train. That's a train. The people were selected whether they could do anything you know, helpful for the Nazis. And you see a woman with a baby there wearing white. She was pointed in the direction of not being able to do anything for the Germans except to be killed. Those that were not chosen to work were sent to die, and some of them would be dead in a matter of hours. This picture was taken, and you can see this woman. She's a grandmother with a whole bunch of little kids. They're being sent to a gas chamber, a place where they could pack people in and kill them all at once. This here is a line for people to do that. And all of the people that you're seeing in these pictures were gone. Now you can notice in the back there's almost looks like Jurassic Park. That fence in the back there is electrified. And if you did anything at all to get out, you know, to try to make any sort of, you know, trouble or anything like that, they just pulled you out and shot you, or took you away and shot you somewhere else. But here's where they're headed. This is a model, and this model shows a whole line of people walking down the stairs, And then there's a cutaway of, I guess, what I would describe as a locker room. And what people were doing when they were sent down there, that's the preparation for them to die. They were sent down to this locker room and told to take all their clothes off and to put all your belongings in a certain place. And many times they were told, you know, you're going to take a shower and get your hair cut. And they sent them into rooms that many times were disguised to look like a big locker room shower. The thing is, these were enormous. They were the size of, like a cafeteria kind of thing with a lower ceiling. But they were put in there, and steel doors were closed. And here's the actual door of a gas chamber. They locked the people in. Now, what they did when they were in there is, through the roof, there were some pipes that dropped something called Zyklon B. It was a poison gas. And when they dropped it into these pipes, there was water at the bottom, and it would activate the gas and fill the gas chamber, and people would die. And this would all be full of dead bodies within, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Sometimes they did put shower heads in there, and sometimes they actually gave people soap, and as many as 2,000 people could be killed.